Hello, and welcome to the second part of the tutorial where we'll be finalizing our high poly mesh and be doing our retopology of our model so it's ready for Unreal. Once in Zbrush, what we do is import the OBJ we exported out for mesh shape. To do this, we're going to go up to the Tools tab, click on Import, and then import the OBJ. And once you've done that, what you do is click and drag onto the screen. Done that, what you do is click and drag onto the screen. If you need to make any changes to the mesh, such as I did in the case of my model, you just need to click on the object to be editable. Okay, so this object, I have some ambiguity where the background has been generated into the mesh. So for this, I use the move tool to bring it in, along with smoothing it, so it looks like part of the arm. If you are to make any edits to the object, I recommend these be minor. Due to using Photogrammetry, we'll be trying to capture the actual real-world details for this object, and we don't want to lose them through making any changes to the mesh or smoothing too much. At any point you want to delete part of your mesh, what you do is hold Control to get up the mask tool, drag you over the intended area. Holding Control again, click the empty space to invert the mask, so that only intended areas will be affected. And then go to the Visibility tab and hide the points. So you can see here, we currently hidden these points. And after that, we're going to go up to Geometry tab, Modify Topology, and Delete Hidden. As stated in the last tutorial, there's currently a hole at the bottom of a mesh, where I did not scan with a meta shape. To close the holes, we first have to get rid of any existing subdivisions. To do this, we just click on Delete Higher, and then we're going to go down to Modify Topology and Close Holes. This will close the hole, leaving a solid flat base, and this will allow our object now to be completely a solid mesh for retopology. When you're satisfied with the changes to your mesh, go to Export in the Tools section and export this out as an OBJ. With this, we're moving on to Maya. Moving on to Maya, this is what we're using to do our retopology. We're first going to start by importing our OBJ that we exported from Zbrush. To do this, we're going to go to File, Import, and we're going to select the OBJ that we exported. Once you've imported the OBJ, you may notice it's come in several parts. This is a relatively quick fix. What you do is just select all three items in the hierarchy, hit Mesh, and Combine Object. This will take a moment to process it. When it's done, you just go up to Edit, Delete by Type, then Delete History. Now this is on a single mesh now. If you want to make any changes to your mesh, in terms of resizing it, repositioning it, or changing its pivot point, I recommend you do so now, as it will be in the same position as the retopology when it gets to the substance painter. Divide by running slower working on a retopology, we're going to need to do a GPU cache. This will put all the processing power on our GPU rather than our processor. To do this, we're going to select our mesh, go up to Cache, GPU Cache, and Export Selection. As it exports, you may notice that the timeline is coming through. If there was any animation on this mesh, it would be currently caching that. Once that's done, we're going to go back up to the Cache tab, GPU Cache, and we're going to re-import the GPU cache we just exported. The major difference between working with a GPU cache and a normal mesh is the poly count. As you notice, with our mesh, we're currently working at 3.7 million polys, but if you look at our GPU cache, it's currently got 0. You can go ahead and delete your high poly mesh now. Now we set up a GPU cache, ready to do the retopology. This I won't show you the entire process, but I will give you a baseline to get started with your own. Start with, going to go to Modify and hit Make the Object Live. This will allow us to use the Quad tool to start drawing on the object. Using the Quad tool, we're just going to left click on the object itself, and these will place our vertices here. Holding Shift, we connect them into a quad, and then we're going to use the vertices in to keep making our quads. What we want to do is to make edge loops. This is a series of quads that go around to loop around the actual object itself. And this is what builds our retopology. Go and see here you've got edge loop now. The nice thing about the quad tool is it's a adapt tool where you can pull vertices out to fit the actual shape you need. If you need to, you can smooth it by holding shift. That should smooth that into the mesh. If you ever find that you've made a try, which in case would look like this, you can just hover over it, press delete. Similarly, you can go to vertices and delete these. And same with edges. Another tool that's useful is to add extra loops in where you need them. And if you find you need to connect to a point, you can just drag it onto another vertex and it will snap together. A second tool we're going to use is called Instamesh. Instamesh is a free algorithm-based tool that will generate a retopology for us. It's currently used within Unity's own Photogrammetry pipeline, and will save you a lot of time if you do not have much skills with retopology yourself. Do know though that it may have some varying results, and you may have to do some edits to it. To get started on our retopology in Instamesh, we're going to go up to the open mesh and import the OBJ that we exported from Zbrush. As you hear, I've currently done that. This may take you several minutes depending on the size of it. You want to make sure then, if you're working in quads or working in tries, for this we're going to want to do quads. I always recommend working quads over tries, especially if we're working for a game on Unreal. Next we're going to do a target vertex count. Adjusting this will adjust the amount of polygons that is created for our reconstruction. For environment asset, we're looking between 10 to 20k if it's a major asset. And if you're making a character, you may want to pop it higher. We're then going to move on to the orientation field. Now this is going to affect how Instamesh calculates where our polygons are going to go on the mesh. As you can see here with the solve, each of these lines is where it's trying to calculate where the actual polygons are going to go. At this point, you can affect the flow by making these combs on the actual object itself. I'd recommend spending the most time at this point to make sure that all the polygons will be flowing in the same direction. If you notice any abnormalities on the mesh, you just go through, scrub through and try to fix them. Once you're happy with that, you can move on to the vision field, and using the data we just added, it's going to calculate where all the vertices are going to go. You can see here it's generated all the quads. And if you notice there's anything you want to change at this point, I'd recommend going back to the orientation field by resolving it, re-affecting it, and then going back to the vision field and resolving that as well. When you're happy with that, just go to export mesh. Make sure you're working in a pure quad mesh. If you wish to add any smoothing iterations, you can. I normally recommend adding one, and then finally extract your mesh. And you see here now we've got a full reconstruction of our object. And when you've done that, all you do is save this out as a low poly OBJ. This is it for this tutorial. The next tutorial will be focusing on texture reconstruction meta shape, for analysing our textures in Zbrush beta, and finally making our object in Unreal. Bye for now.